Hi, it's Christy of So to Speak, and welcome to the Closet series. So you know that moment when you walk through a door and you lock eyes with someone from across a room, and you know in that moment that they are going to be your next great friend. That is what happened with me and our next guest in the closet, Miss Angela Johnson. She and I met, and it was a kindred feeling mutually. She is one of the most non-judgmental, joyful, and hilarious people that I have ever had the joy of meeting. She is also the owner of BB Designs and B Holistic Life Coaching, as well as a co-founder of Utica Love. And she is speaking to us today about how we can be not just the best version of ourselves during COVID and beyond, but also the most real version of ourselves consistently, how we can show up that way, and why it's a benefit to us, why it's a benefit to you, why it's a benefit to the world. And, you know, the wheels came off a little bit with her. But I gotta say, if my wheels are going to come off at all, Angela is one of those people who I would want them to come off with the most. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy our conversation. What would you, sorry, I'm seeing a green balloon. So I have a window right in front of my desk here, and I just saw, I'm having such a moment today, like I feel like the kid in American Beauty who like videotapes a bag.
Well, you know,
so sensitive today. I don't know what's happening. Like I just saw a van, like a little minivan, stop in front of my house, and I just saw a green balloon fly out, and I got so sad for the little kid. Just lost his balloon. Oh my gosh. And I have not had any, I'm drinking hot water right now. Like I have not had a drink. Maybe I need one. I don't know. But yeah, the green balloon, it was in the shape of a star, and it just flew out of the car. I just witnessed it.
See, and I immediately went to the sea turtle that might be eating the balloon when you said that.
See where we go?
Mm-hmm.
I know. Yeah.
At least it wasn't like, how come I didn't have a green balloon?
No, it wasn't. Goodness. I just want your insight for people in regards to like, how do you allow yourself to just be with the waves? Like I always equate it to surfing, and I don't know if you have an analogy. I like visual analogies, but I just feel like, how can you just be in this space without feeling like you're crazy?
Well, I mean, you can feel like you're crazy. Like, that's the thing. Like, there's no wrong here. It's like the analogy that I would say would be water. Like, water is like the most emotional element. Like, it's the element that kind of moves through everything. Like, you know, you have a rushing stream. Every emotion can be represented by water, I feel like, you know, from the smooth flowing stream to like the rushing rapids, anger, and all of that stuff. But like when water comes up against whatever it is, like it says, oh, hey, rock in the middle of the lake, I'm just going to flow right around you. I know you're there, but I'm just going to move around it. So it's just, that's kind of like the sense of being. Like, if you're angry, be with it. If you're calm, be with it. If you are in gratitude, awesome. If you are sad, okay. Like, and it's not to say that it's, if you're there for weeks at a time, that's probably not a good place to stay. But if you are acknowledging where you are, and then you're being with it in a real way, like allowing yourself to cry, allowing yourself to cuddle up and have a blanket, or, you know, whatever it is that is your comfort in that moment. Or maybe it's going outside and screaming profanities at a tree. Like, I don't care what it is. Go smash a glass. Go like burn something outside. Make sure you're safe, but like release it. Don't allow it to keep building and building like the suitcase that's going to explode with clothes. Or anything, like, because it's just gonna end up overflowing into everything else, and then you're gonna feel like you're in a breakdown, which you may be in one, or it may not be that big a deal, but it just feels like one, because that's the story that we're telling ourselves is, oh God, I can't feel like this. And, if I'm upset, what are people going to think of me, or whatever the case may be. So,
Well,
um,
can I ask you about that? Like, so specifically, I'm thinking of people who are in my situation who have young kids at home, even a little bit older kids. The idea of feeling how you're feeling when you're feeling it sounds somewhat liberating, somewhat scary, like a combo. And at the same time, when you have younger kids, so I have a 6.5 and a 4.5-year-old at home. How would you suggest that people go about feeling how they're feeling so that it's age appropriate for their children? I mean, I know you're not saying scream profanities while your kids are on the swing set.
no.
I would totally pay to see that. However, how would you suggest that people who do, specifically with kids, have kids at home, how can they check in with themselves in a way that feels that balance between not fully losing it in front of their kids and not locking it down?
Well, I do think, yes, the profanities outside might be an extreme thing to do in front of the kids, but the thing is regardless of whether we want to be or not, as a father, as a mother, we're always in leadership of our family, all the negative, all the positive. So like the kids are going to take from you everything, like everything. And it may not be something that you even realize that is happening right now, but you are imprinting on them all your story, bad or good. So when we think about bad or good, like how would you want your kids to show up in this situation, right? Would you want them to push down their feelings and not tell you how they really feel, or show emotion? And when you think about being in leadership, and if my kids are going to be mirroring me or mimicking me, how do I want to show up so they follow suit, right? So in my case, it would be like, I want my children to have the ability to emotionally release whatever it is going on at any moment. Like if you're crying in the middle of the yard, I want to know why, of course. And it's not to stop crying. It's more just to understand, like, okay, you just need to be there, or is there something that you're feeling bad about? And, same thing with me. Like, it's okay if my 17-year-old son that's graduating high school sees me cry, or my stepdaughters see me cry, or if they understand anger. Like these are all healthy emotions that, the more that we demonstrate to push them down and box them up, the more they're not going to express who they really are in every moment. And everybody right now has a right to feel so much. I mean, not that ever is different, but especially with the environment that we're in right now, because it's just unknown, it's new territory. Everybody just give yourselves the opportunity to be gentle with yourself. And like, there's no right, there's no wrong, there's just what is. And, allowing yourself to be real enough to show your kids that. And it's okay to be really who you are at any moment, and really who you are in your life. And regardless of whether it's COVID, if it wasn't COVID, it would be something else. Like, I don't want to go to family dinner, or I don't like this kid in my class. All right, you don't have to like everybody. Like, like I think that's kind of crazy too. Like when we are like, you have to be nice to everybody, not saying that you have to be a jerk to people, but I don't think that everybody should have to be friends. Like that's not a real thing. There are definitely people that we just are immediately more attracted to than others and have a connection. And kids are really honest a lot of the time about like who feels good to them and who doesn't feel good to them. So let's not train them to bring in negativity into their space if they don't want it.
I do believe that there's age appropriate ways, like you were talking about your son as a teenager seeing you. Like I feel like there's a difference with ages though, you know what I mean? Like with 4.5 and a 6.5-year-old, I am not at the point where I feel like I'm crying every day or I'm angry every day, and so I need to hide that from them, or else like cry every day and have them see mommy crying. Like I don't feel I'm at that extreme, but I do wonder what is appropriate in regards to how to show up so that they still feel like they're going to feel what energy you bring, for sure. So even if you feel like you're kind of locking it down, they're going to feel what's behind the word. I just think it can get a little bit blurry in the lines of your kids at a young age, or at any age really, feeling like they need to take care of the parent.
Well, yeah, I mean, if we're talking like you're in like a depression or you are crying every day or something like that, then I would urge
Or
you to
anxious
get,
and you just,
yeah, or like just get support from
yeah,
an adult, right? And not be, projecting that onto the kids. But at the same time, like if you, I mean, this is, like I said, if there's a consistency here that you cannot get out of, that is something where you might need to call a friend, call a professional, call family, call someone. That's another thing within this is like connection. Part of how I coach is through the legacy curriculum, and then one of the biggest things in it is that connection equals possibility. So the more connected we are to ourselves, the more connected we are to our kids, the more connected we are to anybody, especially when we feel like we just have our kids and we don't have someone else. There's always somebody else that you can share your life with, whether it's a 1-800 hotline, or like there's a lot of coaches right now that are local in Utica and beyond that are doing like free 30-minute sessions so you can vent to someone or friends. I would say that you should not be fake with your kids. But if you are having a consistent depression, sadness, anger, any of those emotions, I would recommend getting support and leaning in, especially when you feel like not doing that. Like you want to go into solitary confinement and pretend like everything's okay.
yes.
Because it's most likely not okay, and it's most likely something else that is being triggered by COVID and everything else that's happening. It's not necessarily what's happening right now, and it's deep seated and it's something within you that has to come out. So, instead of covering it up and burying it, it's better to like just talk about it. Sometimes just talking about it and getting the words out allow you to feel it more because it's more real. Like when you say it and you're with it, and that can allow someone else to be like, okay, I totally get you. Because there's a lot of the time when we have those severe, like, oh my God, I can't believe I feel like this, or those deep-seated things that feel shame or guilt or whatever it is, that other mom across the street is probably feeling the same thing that you are, and they're just scared to say it. It's like when no one asks questions in a room and you're facilitating a room or talking to a group, like someone asks a question and there's like 3 other people that are like, oh my God, thank you for asking that, because they were too scared to share themselves with the room or the group. So I would say, yes, there is a fine line, and there's no silver bullet for like the family system, depending on who you are, who your kids are. But I think real emotion is just really important. It's just been in society for so long. Even my parents and me, like, not allowing the anger, not allowing the sadness, like, oh, feel better, stop crying. Like, if I need to cry for 30 minutes, then let me do it. And I bet you I'll be fine in a little while, So it's just, we got to pull the mask back of like what we think we're supposed to look like and how we think we're supposed to react to things and what society thinks of us. Because if they're not judging you for one thing, it's probably going to judge you for another. So you might as well be who you are. And if you did have a complete meltdown, so what? So what? Like, okay, like, fine. It's just the shame and the guilt are what like runs us, and the fear of the thoughts somebody else might have or who you're talking to or whatever the case may be. So I think you're right. I think now and all the time is always time to talk to someone. And a lot of us have been programmed. I know I was for a long time, not by our parents' fault, just in general of how society ran, was like, you got to have it all together. You don't need to talk to anybody. You're crazy if you have a coach, a therapist, a psychologist, or whatever. And it's such a old state of mind and frame of thinking. And there are so many people that are getting so awake and accountable for who they are in the world now more than ever, which I'm so incredibly grateful for, because why wouldn't we be doing that? Like, we're all such purposeful beings, and we're on this planet for so many special things and things that we're supposed to be doing. And people are so disconnected from their dreams, from their gifts and talents, from what makes their hearts light up. And it's sad. And I don't want that for my kids. I don't want that for anybody. And whether COVID's going on or not, like, I think that this has been an awesome, on the flip side of the coin, I totally can't imagine what it's like to be on the front lines of this right now. But I am grateful and in gratitude and blessed in my life that this has allowed me to hit the reset button and really think about, like, what am I doing on the planet? How am I going to share my gifts with people when everything I know is different than what I knew before? And it's not just about me. It's not just about my family. It's about the greater good on this planet. We're all dealing with this. And it's not just a US thing. It's a China thing. It's an Italy thing. Like, this is like such a
Global
key, yeah, like a key time for all of us to like just be better than who we've been. And you know what? And when I say be better, I don't mean like learn a skill or like you have to like manifest this new life. It's more of like just being better is being who you are more authentically. Like, so get in touch with that. And if it's ugly, cool. If it's beautiful, cool. If it helps people, awesome. If it doesn't, okay. Like, why does beautiful have to be good? Why can't beautiful just be real?
Yeah, when you say real, I think whole. It's like the first thing I think of. You know,
Yeah.
we're so quick to say like good or bad. I probably drive my kids crazy with this, maybe not, but I want to say it was Rachel Simmons. I've given her so many plugs because I love girls leadership and she's one of the co-founders of it. And it came up with two other of these conversations. But I think it was her, but basically saying like, we're all good people innately. You may make a bad decision, but it doesn't mean that you're good or bad. So it would drive me bananas. Like when people say, are you being a good girl? Or, you know, you're being a bad girl. I'm like, I cringe. I just get like, and it's not pointedly malicious or intentional. I think it's just, we're just saying that, you know, and it does become this programmed idea of what is good and what is bad. And so I just get like, I think it was one of the best things to hear is like, might have been a bad decision, might not have been a bad decision, but you're not being a good or bad person. It might have been Brene Brown, now that I think about it. But anyway, I just love it. I think it just shifts things a little bit more to create that wholeness in a person versus the idea of being good or bad. And when you say real, I think whole, you know, and a lot of times, if you could speak to this, you know, a lot of times when people, authenticity has been the big buzzword for the last like 2 years, maybe year and a half. And it, you know, I always have a bittersweet feel when there's buzzwords happening because I feel like people start seeing it so much that they get desensitized to it. So just to go deeper into authenticity, being genuine versus like, people sometimes have a tendency to take authentic and be like, I'm being a dick, like being authentic, being real, I'm just being me. Like, so can you speak to what your take is on being authentic without giving yourself or someone else like a hall pass to just be a jerk?
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing in the assessment of whether I'm being a jerk or not, or am I adding value? So like when you are making a statement, you're posting a Facebook post, doesn't mean you can't feel like being a jerk. It just means like, is what I'm posting, is what I'm saying, is what I'm sharing, adding value to anyone other than myself, right? So like I could be like super pissed at somebody and be like, yeah, they're a jerk, I don't want to talk to them, like F you, whatever. And okay, I'm allowed to feel that way, but it doesn't mean that I have to share my FU with everyone else and then everybody gets on board, because people like to connect like through negativity and through drama, and that's not helping anybody, right? So you have every right to who you feel that towards, but if you want to share it with someone else, don't. And because like, and when you're talking about the other stuff, just because, I mean, unless it's work for you, like you want to say I'm angry because you're talking to someone that's supporting you, okay, fine. But like when we're talking about like a group, or you're just pissed at someone at the grocery store, or like, you know, like me saying F you to this lady, is that going to get that lady to like move her cart faster, pay with her check faster, write out her check faster, get her disposable bags faster? No. No, you're just gonna upset someone else. What is your impact? Are you adding value? Self accountability. How am I showing up right now? Is this really how I want to show up in a grocery store right now? As mad as I am? Because it happens to everybody.
So,
Like you're in a rush,
right. So
whatever it
I
is.
think you were just using it as like a general example. However,
Right.
the stores now are like the hotbeds right now that are peaking a lot of stress levels. You know, I used to
Yeah.
love going to the grocery store. It honestly was like one of my favorite. Like it was calm to me. I was relaxed, you know, and it's not anymore. And so, speaking of how we're showing up right now in grocery stores, which is probably one of the only other places besides liquor stores that people who are safely inconvenienced at their home are going to at all. Maybe they're doing like curbside pickup at restaurants and stuff. But how can people, like, would you have any techniques or strategies that people can do to just check in before they leave, before they walk out the door?
Yeah. I would say, first of all, like anything, depending on where you live, that is implemented, be conscious of it. You know, like, first of all, be conscious of yourself and where you are in the world. Like, so if you, like right now in York, Cuomo, we have to put masks on anywhere in the public space. Have a mask on, guys. Like, it's for yourself and it's for everybody else around you. It's just respect. Like, respect yourself, respect other people. And you know, it's not that big a deal. Throw a mask on, you're good. And then the 6 foot rule, right? Like, not to say that you're not going to be like 4 foot sometimes if you're in a crowded area, or 3 foot or whatever, but like, don't be like a face talker when you are supposed to be 6 foot away. Like, it's just like a consciousness. Like, you know, you don't have that little respect for people. And it's, I don't want to make anybody wrong, but this is like a consciousness that's bigger than us, right?
Totally. Totally.
And it's like, of course people are going to listen and people are going to rebel, and maybe there's a reason why that person feels the need to get this close to you to make sure they're heard, and maybe they weren't heard their whole life. I mean, there's so much of this that's more coaching. But what I'm just saying is, so if you feel like you're going to 0 to 100 real quick, right? Take a minute and breathe. First thing I would say is, you have to lift your mask up and put your face down to get a deep breath in and a deep breath out away from people. Do that, because sometimes it's hard to breathe in the masks. Or go outside, leave your cart, go outside, and then come back. Everybody is just so sensitive right now, and you don't know the impact that your outrage will have on the next person. And you don't know, like, if that old lady can't pick up her pen because she's got arthritis and she couldn't find toilet paper and she's like a mess right now. Like, be kind. Come from kindness, come from love. Like, when you think about that old person in front of you, think about your grandma. Think about your sister, your mother. Think about that is someone else's grandmother. That's someone else's mom. And like, you know, the compassion, when you can get empathetic and compassionate towards people that you don't understand, it's a really powerful place to be. Practice empathy, practice pause, breathe if you're getting upset, and then practice respect to other people and to yourself. And then if you're still upset, okay, fine. Go out to your car, check out, and scream your head off in the car with the door shut. You know, like, release it. Don't let it get bound up and then go home and then scream at your whole family when you get home because of the crazy people at Walmart. You know, like, allow yourself to be with whatever it is, but there is that self accountability and the consciousness of your impact on other people, you know?
I want to pause you for a second because you had so many good bites in there. I just want to reiterate them. The
Okay.
breathing, the stepping away to a safe 6 foot distance to pull your mask out and breathe, huge. Just to remind yourself, because it can get very straitjacket feeling. And, you know, you're already feeling that way possibly inside. And then you have this on top of it. And maybe you're wearing goggles, like, who knows? Everybody's different, you know? It can feel very overwhelming. So having that moment and there are these moments of that bring back your power, you know, like, it's empowering to know that you have the power to pause and to talk to yourself the way you would talk to your friend or the way you would talk to your kids on a day where they're not driving you nuts. And just like, it's okay you're feeling this way. Like, it's okay you're feeling this way. And the other thing you said, which I love, is if you're not able to, and if you're not in that space to have that sense of empathy, like right away, because you're human and we react because we're human, to be able to associate it closer to home, your grandmother, an older figure in your life who you love, maybe a neighbor, whoever it is, or a sister or a brother or a father, and to know that the key there for me was when you said to know that they are someone else's fill in the blank. Like, that was just, yes, on so many levels. Like, it was just so huge. And then I also have to have to say that when you were talking about going out into the car to scream, at this moment where I was thinking about, how everybody was going through, maybe they still do it, like that flash mob where everybody stopped and danced in the street.
Yeah.
Just had this moment of like a COVID flash mob where all the cars are 6 feet apart and everybody like takes their car and goes to their car and opens the door at the same time and shuts it and everybody screams at the same time.
That would be so awesome. We should organize it, Christy.
Hard.
Yep.
Screams. Hugs the horns. I just feel this.
Oh my God.
Wouldn't that be so fun?
Yes.
What would be the song for that? I don't know. We got to think about it. But it's that type of stuff, like just humanizing. And for me, it's the humor in the emotion of it, like it's like the best humor is when it's so true and honest. Seeing people screaming in their car, I think would be a YouTube sensation.
I think Limp Bizkit, Give Me Something to Break would be
I don't
like,
know that song, but I love it.
Oh, you got it's like a 90s song and it makes me want to like throw everything.
Take like a Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel.
Yeah. See, I don't get as fired up with Peter Gabriel.
Why not? That's crazy. That's so
or
crazy.
Like System of the Down, Toxicity. Oh my God.
Alice in Chains. I can go with Alice in Chains for sure.
All right. Well, I think you need to listen to the other two songs.
I don't think we're on the same page with music. I think we have to get back to the reason that I brought you on.
However, we totally are sometimes. Maybe not right now.
But I do have to say, I jammed out to Lionel Richie like crazy after. So whoever comes into the closet, I always ask them, for anybody who's watching, I ask them to list their favorite song and their favorite movie. And then I listen to the music and have a little dance party before I talk to them so I can kind of get into their space. I might watch the movie if I have time or look up clips or whatever it is. But today was the music. And for Angie, it was You're All I Need to Get By, Method Man and Mary J, and Lionel Richie. And I listened to Method Man, but then Lionel Richie, oh my God. And then Say You, Say Me came on after All Night Long, which was the song you put down was All Night Long. Say You, Say Me has this breakdown in it that like I totally forgot about. Like, it's all slow, and then all of a sudden Lionel like comes in with a kick, and it was thoroughly enjoyable. So thank you for bringing that into my day to day.
You are so welcome. It was my Lionel Richie was my mom's like absolute favorite, and she used to watch making of the video of Dancing on the Ceiling like all the time, and I love that. So that between All Night Long, I personally connect that with my mom more, so it's my favorite. But Dancing on the Ceiling was really her favorite. Like that was like her jam. So yes, but I love Lionel Richie in general, like 80s. It's just my upbringing,
Cool. So that's where we can stay. We can stay in the 80s decade. Beyond that, I think we lose each other.
Okay.
And I want to just do a quick shout out for you for BB Designs with all the stuff, because you wear so many hats, coaching and owner of BB Designs. Am I missing anything? Artist.
Utica Love. Just
Utica Love, right?
That stuff. But it's really more the coaching and BB right now. So
with BB Designs, or I should say with either, is there anything that you want to just put out right now?
Sure. So BB Designs, I am a creative. I am an artist for those that don't know me. And I am doing virtual classes to try to support families daily, which you can log into bbdesignsutica.com and register for those. I have them starting Monday through Friday weekly. And then for the community, if you are in a bind financially, I'm doing free classes every Thursday from the BB Design Facebook page at 1:00. And I, in the event on Facebook page, I post the whole supply list for everybody a week ahead of time. So if you can gather the supplies or something, whatever you got at home, you can use. And then I do the free class every Thursday. And one more thing, we just launched BB Designs Art Delivered, which is a YouTube video of me teaching that the kids get, and then full supplies for everything that you'd need for a project. And you just also register for that, and it gets shipped directly to your house.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah, so that just
Wow.
launched in April. So we're doing it monthly,
Mm-hmm.
which was April Adventure, and then May's is going to be Magical May.
Yay.
So there's cute different ones, so check that out.
Mhm.
And also, like, B is my coaching business. So if you want to check that out, it's blife.us. And like I said, I'm here to support people. So if you're having a rough time and you need someone to talk to, I'm offering 3 free 30-minute calls. So if I can support you and you're having a rough time, I'm happy to talk to you. You can send me an email, you can send me a message, like, and I have a whole army of legacy coaches that are amazing, that if I can't talk to you, they're also making themselves available. And, there's always somebody there to support and connect. So I just urge you, if you're feeling down or out or not, like you just want to talk and like share how you're feeling. Again, it doesn't have to be a reactive, it can be a proactive conversation.
Where can people find you?
You can find me on, I say way too much. bbdesignsutica.com. Always good for a laugh, I am. Okay, and then blife.us are my 2 websites, and then I have Instagram at bbrushdesigns. And then I also have BB Designs Art Delivered, which is specifically for that. And then I have Facebook also for B, which is B Design Your Life. So you can find me in most of the
Awesome.
social medias.
And just to check in about this, so the BB Designs Deliver, is that only local?
No, it's national.
National, in case
Yeah,
anybody nationally is watching.
anywhere in the U.S.
Anywhere in the US. And then also for that delivery, is it, I'm thinking it's like any age.
Yeah, well, it's 6 and up. It's not really for toddlers per se,
Oh,
but
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
they're
Yes.
yeah, but
I mean, adults don't have to look at it like it's for kids only. Like adults.
no, they could do it. I mean, they're usually like, well, like this last one was a mermaid, a pirate ship, an octopus. So you could even paint with your kids. It might be something to do that's fun, or you can paint on your own. But we're playing with a lot of different things depending on how this goes. So this was just the first month, but we had a good response, and we're excited for May and seeing what happens.
Oh, I love it. Thank you so much for this.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you so much for having me, and it's been a pleasure. You're always happy to talk to Christy, and I hope people get some value out of it and use something that could support them in their life.